Walk a Mile in My Shoes started in 2007 when I went to Kenya for the first time. At least that's when it started in my head. God deposited a burden for a certain group of kids who live there. They're kids who live on the street and who are addicted to glue. They're orphaned, they're rebellious, they become gang-like. And so it took a few years, but in 2010, March of 2010 last year, we decided to get busy and do something to help this population of kids. And we had a walkathon called Walk a Mile in My Shoes. And we raised $4,000 for kids over there. And so what we ended up doing is we ended up taking a portion of that money and doing a 4-day soccer outreach where they heard the gospel, they were wanted, they were accepted instead of shunned and harassed, and it was a wonderful thing. Leaving Kenya in 2010, summer of 2010, the goal was to actually get some of these kids off the street. And so our pastor contacts there were on the lookout as these soccer outreaches continued to see which kids might be ready to actually be rehabilitated and ready to go to school. And so in September of 2010, we're really excited to find out that there were 5 that seemed to be good candidates for this. And so they've been off the street since September, and they're in boarding school.
Zachariah,
okay.
Peter, then we have brothers David and Joseph and Lilix.
Right. You know, is there more than just 5 kids off the street? Is there a way to help more kids get rehabilitated and know Christ? And so we went with an idea that we might meet up with certain people that I actually met on Facebook, missionaries who work there. And it's interesting that God brought people along our paths that we had no idea existed. And in fact, one of them is Pastor Sammy.
And what was so encouraging about meeting Pastor Sammy is that he himself was a street boy. So he and his brothers had to live on the street. And he lived on the street for 3 or 4 years. And one day he went out to beg for money, because that's how they survive, and he needed money for his glue. And a man walked up to him, and so this man asked him why he wasn't in school. And Sammy said, well, it's because of money. And the man, he was hoping that the man would just give him the money and he could go get his drugs, but that's not what he did. He walked him over to a school and asked the school, what would it take for this boy to finish his education? And he paid for him up front. And so then he took him and bought him shoes and clothes, and he said it was the first time in his life he'd ever had shoes. And so he went to school. This man left. He only knows his first name. The man never contacted him or the school again. The man has no idea what's happened to Sammy now. He doesn't even remember one word that the pastor said, but he knows that when it was through, he had accepted Jesus as his Savior. And now he has built a compound, I guess you would call it, where he has brought in 34 street boys who now live there. He has built a school where these boys can go to school, and he's in the process of building a church. It's about halfway built right now. He's also in the process of building a place for teams to come and stay when they're over there, so that they can help with projects around his place.
And that's what's so exciting about this, is because we went this time to figure out what are the next steps per se in this ministry. Where is God leading? And to find this operation that's already in place, that has rehabilitation center through carpentry, plumbing, all this kind of technical schooling that he does right there on the premises if kids aren't able to go to the regular traditional school. It's just wonderful, but he's full. And so the next steps possibly is going to be for us to bring a team over there to partner with what Sammy's doing in his construction projects and the things that he's doing there, so that he has more beds, so that as we continue our soccer outreaches, which have been ongoing since the summer of 2010, we have a place to put kids when we see they're ready to get off the street. And so that's what's really exciting about Pastor Sam. We thought it best if we work toward getting these children sponsored by monthly donations. And so it costs about $80 right now. We're going to have sponsorship cards where people can choose to support a portion of that monthly part or all of it if that's something that's within their budget. And this way it helps us with the sustainability of keeping these kids in school.
They also have earrings that we brought back from Kenya that we're selling for $8 a piece to help
defray
the startup costs of getting them going to school.
What I keep seeing over and over again with this project is that a little bit adds up to a lot.